If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instinct, stop listening to others, and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, speak and how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start claiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
All right, guys, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the show. Let's see who's in the house today. I already see Ghost 1978 is out there. I see you, bud. 13 Bujikon is in the house. Mr. Boulay is listening while he works and lurks. That's a good thing. Midnight Newton is in the house. He's probably doing that Uber thing, driving around, torturing his riders with my weird voice. That's okay, though. Anson Knowles is in. What's up? And we got a raid from Mikey Balls. Welcome to all the Mikey Balls people. Welcome. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a great time. You're going to have fun. Welcome, D. I'm not familiar with you. Hopefully you're one of the Mikey Balls folks, and hope you have a good time while you're here. Mikey Balls, it's no problem. You're on the right channel. Yes, sir. Seriously, Shelby is here. Steve Easy is in the house. Yeah. Excellent. TR Finley, welcome, sir. Chris Lestrange is in the house. He's staying up late because I know it's like bedtime where he's at. All right. Jess White is in the house. Welcome from to our folks in Australia. Joe Mobley Show, good to see you, sir. I'd love to have you up on the panel here in just a second. Just give me a minute to get through the opening monologue, and we'll get you up there. I've also got to send the link out to the mods, which I've not done because I've been busy. I do stuff. I've been, got stuff going on. Of course, the Superbot WMD is out there in the chat. Please do not try and post links, or the WMD will react poorly. Welcome to everyone. Jack is in the house. Just Another Canadian is out there. He is delusional this morning. He says, "Calm down. The king has arrived." No, I'm sorry, sir. You're unfortunately just another Jack. Don Parker is in the house. Good to see you, sir. Again, not super familiar with you. I haven't seen you there before, but that doesn't mean anything. You are welcome, sir. Intel Wild, good to see you. Shazzy Bear, salute. All right, Angel Berber in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. We got some all timers in here, and of course Anson Knowles. I mentioned him earlier, but he's a super cool guy. Chino Prime, good to see you back in the house. I hadn't seen you last couple of episodes. Hopefully you enjoy this one and come back. All right, and the house will continue to fill up, and we will continue to do cool stuff and great things. All right, guys. How's it been for you guys? You guys have a good couple of days. Did you watch the show last night? Have you caught any of the other appearances I've been making around the intrawebs? Probably not. It's okay. It's okay if you haven't. That's okay. All right. So, guys and girls, before I forget about it, as always, I have to remind myself to give the little speech. This podcast is supported completely by my wallet at the moment, and there's some things we need to do. And actually, it's getting fairly expensive to, it's become fairly expensive to run. And so any donations will help out. I don't think that works, Jack. I don't have that set up. I'll get that set up, and we'll make that happen. But if you can donate, that's great. TTS is working and set up. Currently I have the TTS set at $10. So if you want to send in a comment and have it not worry about me catching it and reading it, that's a great way to go. And that's a good way to go. Memberships are great. Love it when people become members. I've set my membership cost at basically the price of a cup of coffee. Like, I think it's $4.99, and I mean coffee at Starbucks, obviously. But yeah, it's like $4.99 a month for the basic level. And the second and third levels aren't that much more expensive. I'm going to start doing giveaways for people who have. We're going to do random draw prizes, I should say, for people who have 6 months consistent memberships. So that I don't know what this. I don't actually have any 6-month members, but Raging Patriot's close. He's been a member for 4 months, so he may. I mean, if it's a random draw and he's the only guy, then I guess he gets the prize. So we'll make sure he gets that. If he makes it to 6 months, which I'm sure he will. And it's going to be a great show today, guys. But yeah, I do have to shill for myself a little bit. I've got to pay for some merch. I've got to get with Clover Tech about doing some cool patches and things of that nature. Just a lot of really good stuff, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. As far as where I've been, I saw Mikey Balls. I was just on Flow State's panel. Actually, welcome back as a recruit. So I was over on Flow States. It was a good time. I had some laughs. Actually, had some good discussion as well. And if you caught the show last night, not much has changed. Not much has changed. I was hoping to kind of stay not stay out of the election drama for this show, but I was kind of hoping to not necessarily dwell on it. but at the same time, I need to I need to make sure that we stay up on the election and all of the things going on around it. I did catch Mikey Ball's show yesterday where he was doing kind of a review of some live news and a couple of I think it was Speaker of the Speaker of the House or the Senate chair, something like that. And that guy was just dry as ice. I mean, it was terrible. Trying to listen to that guy justify not accomplishing anything. Literally, he accomplished nothing the entire time in that conversation. It was just repeating the same stupid sentence over and over again, and we all know how I feel about that. So, but and Mikey Balls called him out on it, and it was terrible. It was that guy is and this is what you get with politicians, man. They just can't make good sense. They just it's beyond word salad, right? Like I actually can admire a good word salad where you just spend 5 minutes and people listen to every word you say, but you said absolutely nothing. I kind of admire that ability. But when you just basically repeat the same thing over and over and over again, and people are doing this, nobody likes that, bro. Nobody likes that. 99% of politicians absolutely suck ass. Yes, they do. Welcome, Lee Lance. I see you out there. Thank you for being a member, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you to all of the members of the show. Yep. Oh, I got let's see what we got here. Wrong button. Somebody has, so give me 1 second, guys. Somebody has DM'd me. Oh, why is this taking so long to load? In the meantime, guys, I have a question for the chat. It occurred, earlier on the
Tiki Tac donated $10 super chat. Family, why do these emotes exist?
I have no idea. That's awesome. Why do these emotes exist? I don't know. I asked the chat. The chat will know. The chat knows all. That's awesome, though. That is awesome. Yeah. That was funny. That was quite entertaining. Let me scroll up. I got one from Seriously Shelby. $5 comes in from Seriously Shelby. Only thing he did was make whatever OF girls get to the point faster than him. That's funny. That's true, though. That's true. That's absolutely true. I don't know why those emotes exist. They are actually part of the YouTube packet. I did not add those. The ones I added are cool. The ones that come with YouTube kind of suck, to be honest. So you think Apple is responsible for that? I'm probably. Yeah, Discord kind of. Yeah, no, it's 100%. Those are built in. I didn't add those. I wouldn't add those. The ones I added are cool. They're super awesome. So, yeah. Men get pregnant all the time. All right, guys. All right, come on, guys. Let's leave the land of weird mythology and let's come back to like normal mythology. If you had to pick, because in the last stream I was in, there was a Muslim agitator in discussing creation and creationism and that sort of thing. And of course, Flow State was pushing back on that because he's not creationist as far as biblical. If you had to pick an alternate reality, like aliens, Star Trek, Norse gods, which would you pick as your favorite origin story for how humans came into being? That's just pick your favorite, like the Marvel, any of the Marvel universes, Matrix or Star Wars. But Star Wars doesn't really give an origin story though, right? Like the Matrix kind of does. So, origin story for human existence. What god arcs, Norse gods, I don't know. It's very interesting. No, Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. That's a whole different thing. Lord of the Rings, okay. Does give an origin story for the ethics and morality, not existence. So that's true. Battlestar Galactica. That's good. That's really good. That's really good. So 40K Warhammer. It could be. Probably Star Trek, a race of progenitors seated. How about the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy story arc with the that we were based, that there was a that we basically are an experiment that that they just put on a planet somewhere, and we just happened to work out. How about that? Shazzy Bear, £5 coming in. Happy Halloween. The door knocking starts soon. LOL. Trick or treat. Yeah, it's morning here, so I've got a while to go, but certainly it's been fun. I appreciate the sending in the pound. They are worth more than dollars at the moment, so thank you very much. A good deal there. All right, and Anson Knowles coming in. I had fun with 2 Jehovah's Witnesses today. They didn't like it when I told them they weren't real Christians. Wow. Yeah, Battlestar Galactica is probably my favorite origin story for the human species. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oof, that's a good one. That's really good. Yeah. Okay. I just think that's a great topic for discussion, right? Like, you're going as an FBA. That's funny, Imperius. Imperius, is this the only channel that you have not been banned from? I'm just curious. Welcome, Frank Black. I see you out there. I see you. Also, welcome, Kevin, my buddy Kevin. So, you're another 4 panels a day. Joe Mobley, if you would like to come up, come on up, buddy. Come on up, sir. It's like super windy here, and you guys can't hear it, but I can hear the wind outside my studio. It's really funny. You'd have to go with the 2000s retelling of Battlestar Galactica. That's good. That's good. I like that. That's that actually is probably pretty good. Battlestar Galactica might be the best. He's probably busy holding the cart while his wife pushes it around shopping. Probably not. Grid discusses the domination issues in Michigan. Discussed it. Oh, the Dominion issues. So you never linked me an article about it, so I'm not sure of it. Does anybody know about the Dominion voting machine issues going on in Michigan that they've already caught? Peak science fiction is still Star Trek: The New Generation. Imperius. thought you were smart. Did have hotter women though. I'm sure that's why you actually like it. So, yeah. Yeah. They did have hotter women. Don't disagree with you. Welcome, Mr. to the show. Yes, air. Did you mean sir? Does anybody have any information or opinions on the Dominion voting machine as as relates to Michigan and also ticky tack? I'd love to hear about the Michigan voting machine repair work. What did you do there, sir? What is TOS? Dominion voting machine? I mean, it's in the news, I think. So it's hard to be TOS. All right, let me I can't be a Russian asset. It's already been determined that I'm a Chinese asset, Anson Knowles. So just I'm sorry. I can only be an asset for one really weird country. So production is good. I know a guy who builds drones and it's as a matter of fact, you've seen him here. That's pretty awesome. Kevin says, I feel like the way we are headed at some point, just saying TOS is going to be TOS. So that would be funny. That's funny because it's probably true. Yes, we know TOS. I'm asking what is that I don't see anything that would make it against TOS. It's specifically, I don't believe it is in the TOS at all. I don't remember Dominion being part of the TOS. I'm very curious. Let me take a look here. I can't. Maybe I can find something really quick. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. News. This is a Newsweek article. Michigan warns of issue. So there's a programming issue with some machines that will make casting a ballot more inconvenient for some voters. Voters with disabilities, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I see. So you have to follow the directions or you get an error message. Okay. So here's the thing. If you select straight party option at the start of your vote process, it gives you an error message. Then cast their vote for the candidate of different. Wait, hold on. I got it. Okay, so here's the error message. If you select straight party option at the start of the process, but then you cast a vote for a different party later on, it gives you an error message. That's not a big deal. Somebody just messaged me somewhere. Yeah, exactly. The programming issue is that people are stupid. I mean, you're welcome to come up, Tiki Tack. Just get the link from one of the mods. Probably seriously, Shelby is the mods. Dominion is, in theory, why Tucker Carlson got fired, more or less. I mean, it's not TOS anyway, guys. Chris Lestrange, yes, you can come up. Just get the link from the mods. We can have about 4 people up. 5 states this is affecting. What other states, Imperious? I'll check it out. Well, some engineer, according to the Michigan Engineering News, 4 election vulnerabilities uncovered by a Michigan engineer, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. This has not really anything to do with Dominion. That's irrelevant. SO, Secretary of State. All right. Well, it's a popular search for sure. Well, hang on. We'll just watch it. Stand by. Yeah, we'll just watch it. All right, give me 1 sec. Did Tiki Tack make it up? Where did Tiki Tack go? There he is. What's up?
Hey.
How
Yeah,
are you?
what's up? I'm doing pretty good.
Let's watch this video.
It's been noted that there's been issues with the programming of the bats, with specifically
Yes.
from Dominion. Why was that only caught in the past few days, and why can't it be fixed? I saw the release with the
Yeah, this is a nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals in the counties that use them. And the voter access terminals, of course, not all the machines, just the ones that are accessible, have an issue with the straight party voting and a programming issue that's, again, affected the machines nationwide. And I think all of us that use Dominion machines.
She's wrong about that. It only affects the ones in Michigan.
We're unhappy to learn about this during the testing period and as early voting began. So we're working with Dominion to seek accountability on that front, and also are working with our clerks to ensure voters are aware of this programming issue that will require them to ensure they are voting every section on the ballot.
Hey, Dano, how are you, sir? Good to see you again. How the hell are you?
Because we have straight party. It's not struck me as I've talked to my other colleagues in other states. They're just as upset about it as we are. So, yeah, or surprised, I think.
That's kind of a nothing burger, to be honest, Imperious. No, the other Secretary of State. There's only one Secretary of State. Hold
I
on.
I might give you
Give
a
me a
little bit
video,
of
Imperious. Send me a link on Discord, and I'll take a look at it.
I might be able to build some skepticism around this whole Dominion voting machine.
Oh, I
Um,
believe that they're absolutely horrible, but
yeah, it's well, first, whatever you hear about the Michigan thing, simply put, Dominion, the corporation, was the only one with the administrator access to actually access the database and be able to do audits or
Mhm.
possibly manipulate data.
Mhm.
So that's already one big red flag that nobody within the state had access to that, or at least some procedure on how to handle things.
Mhm.
Next, so this was about 2014 when I was working on Dominion voting machines. So this is like before the Trump era and before
Yeah.
a lot of like the drama that's going on. So when we were manufacturing the Dominion machines, they were being planned to be used in the next upcoming Texas election, and they were being tested in Venezuela. Now, when you look up online, everybody will tell you that fact check false. They were never used in Venezuela. It never happened. Yet I was in the factory and I saw those boxes being shipped to Venezuela. So, and the thing is that even before then, they already pre-tested it in the Philippines, which that's where a lot of the workers they would bring in on visas into this factory was from the Philippines. And the only reason why that I was like I like didn't know any sort of conspiracies around this. I was just like, whatever. These are just circuit boards that are flying in front of me. I'm just doing my job. And it wasn't until my coworker, who's been there for about 4 years, he's from the Philippines. He started telling me all this stuff about. It's like, oh yeah, it's being tested in Venezuela, and you know how the people in Venezuela like their election was rigged. Well, also in the Philippines, and also in Puerto Rico, um, they are skeptical of these Dominion voting machines of actually working correctly, that it rigged the election.
Mm.
And then last on this, Texas completely just said nope, we don't trust Dominion because of this party, of the fact that the Dominion's the only one that keeps the administrative access, and they didn't like that procedure, so they cut
Mm.
the contract. Just so many red flags,
Yeah.
and Michigan is just like, oh yeah, all right, we'll use it, even though so many people complain about it.
Yeah. So would it surprise you to learn that in a mayoral race in, I believe, Vermont, might have been Atlanta though, it was one of the two, the Dominion machines were had a programming error that basically there were three candidates for this mayoral race. And this was like it was a primary before the race to decide which two would go. So it was the incumbent dude, another old dude, and this lady. I don't know whether she was old or not. And every vote for the woman, um, every so many votes for the woman went to each of the other candidates. They were split between the two candidates, and then split with her. So she actually received like some ridiculously low number of votes. And they probably would have gotten away with it, except that they had screwed up first of all, nobody trusts the Dominion machines anymore. So everybody was checking the numbers, right? And so they were already investigating whether or not the machines had been either tampered with and or the programming was faulty. And what they found was that this lady who and her husband had voted in their district, and they received no votes in that district. So their votes had actually been split between the other candidates.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on, especially when people are bringing software into the mix of these like voting elections. And the thing is that I don't understand the rhetoric that these politicians are putting out that it's like voting machines are safe, when it's like every single technician will tell you, everybody who works in IT, anything that exists on data is easily manipulated on so many different levels, and it can't be trusted on an election. It really should be hand counted, or at least what's called a DMZ'd counting, where essentially you do have digital machines that do the counting, but they are locked off from outside parties and they only exist within the building, and they have to actually do the audits and then bring it to and actually report the numbers to a central place.
Yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic. There's a so first of all, I think that the Democrats knew that everybody was going to be hyper aware this election cycle, and therefore and I've said this for a year now, that I think that they tried to cheat in several elections. They tried to cheat with paper ballots. I believe that's the Atlanta one I'm thinking of. They tried to cheat with paper ballots and they got caught because without a pandemic, without people staying home, without people being forced to sit inside their homes, even paper, there are so many people that are on their own watching these ballot centers. Look at what we're hearing in the news, where people are following the ballot trucks from place to place to make sure they don't stop and throw ballots outside of the thing, right? Like they just found those, I think it was Michigan again, where they found ballots that had fallen off the truck, and it was because the guy driving behind him, he didn't come out and say, but was basically following them. And I think that the Democrats anticipated this much scrutiny, and so obviously the normal level of cheating exists. I don't think the Dominion machine in the down ballot programming is a cheat so much as I think it's a purposeful flaw to negate some split party votes because that's targeted directly at independents, right?
Yeah.
Like when I go in, I pretty much vote straight ticket.
Yeah, I think
but
most
other
people
for like yourself, for example, you may walk in and you may vote Libertarian, you may vote Republican, you may vote Democrat, depending on the person, right? I don't know that. I'm just saying. I'm just using you as an example.
No, I'll just throw out there, I'm voting for Vermin Supreme.
Are you really?
No.
Okay, good. I was about to lose so much respect for you. Like, you just have no idea the amount of respect that would have been forever lost.
He's a clown, and it's great to clown.
It is great to clown. I mean, the interesting thing is that he's never stated his platform. Like, nobody even knows what it is. Yeah, so the Michigan issue, I don't know that he was illegal. He was a student, and he used a student ID to vote, but he's not permitted to vote because he's not he's here on a student visa, not a green card. So it's fraudulent vote. Yeah,
there does need to be more scrutiny on like voter ID, and again, it just comes down to the rhetoric of the left. It's like the left is always going to say like, "Oh, the marginalized communities."
that is a felony, Imperious. That is a felony. If you vote on a student ID while you're here on a student visa, that is a felony.
Yeah, it's
right. I believe that's a felony.
Yeah, and I think this is where the Supreme Court ruled on like a lot of states that were implementing these mail-in ballots and removing like the voter ID laws during COVID time were listed as unconstitutional. But the Supreme Court didn't rule on that until way later after the election has already passed. So there's no real way to overturn the results on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to think that these guys are realistically. So I personally believe that cheating happens on both sides. I believe that so I got to be honest. So I was in racing, that my entire career was in racing, and I've been around some really good cheats. Really good. And I actually respect a really good cheat, right? Like if you come up with a really good, like, badass cheat, um then I will 100%. Look, I admire that. I respect that, right? Because it's a what's the word I'm looking for here?
I think I could expand on the idea where it's so in the form of racing, I already understand there's a lot of strict guidelines on the types of modifications you can and cannot have, and it's to try to bring everybody to that equal playing field. Yet in my belief system, I do feel like that innovation in technology to make just that little bit faster jump is actually something that should be promoted. So in a way, to kind of introduce a cheat here and there, I think it's okay in the spirits of what racing is supposed to be.
Yeah, so I think that what we're really talking about here is like, or what I'm really talking about is like, if the like in one series that I ran in, you could only use plastic rubber bushings, right? So polyurethane, factory rubber, whatever, all good. Unless the factory bushing was metal, and then you could use the factory bushing, but you couldn't turn it around. Or you couldn't use an aftermarket metal bushing in the suspension, and there's a reason for that, because that does add precision, which adds speed. And I actually saw a guy who had made an all-heim joint and suspension, but he had actually cut the rubber bushings in half and put them on both sides, so that when you looked at it, it looked for all the world. Like if all you did was shine a flashlight on it during tech, looks perfect. But it was a metal bushing. The guy constantly was, ahead of us. I myself actually had a set of bushings made that were aluminum, that were painted with truck bed liner, that looked for all the world like rubber bushings, but they were literally all metal. And I actually think I still have them. Drop Engineering made them, and they literally looked 100% like they were factory. You couldn't tell, which was what I wanted, right? I wanted no one to be able to tell. And so I actually, and like I've seen even more egregious ones, like we tore down a tube frame car one time, where the guy had actually put he had a nitrous bottle in his fuel cell, and he ran the line through his fuel line all the way through the car and out into the back of the carburetor.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
But that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, he knew what he was doing. And well, actually, I say back of the carburetor. It ran to a fuel distribution block, which split the line to both sides of the carburetor, and it also had what looked to be like a this billet fuel block. It looked like it had like a fuel pressure sensor or something outlet, and that was where the line in the big fuel line connected to another braided line, and that line disappeared under the air cleaner assembly and was actually the nitrous line. We also saw guys that had actually sealed their when they built the car, they would seal the tubing and welded up in such a way that it was just a big hollow, hose, basically line,
Mhm.
pipe, whatever, all the way out to the front of the car. And that it was the coolest cheat I've ever seen. The guy had he actually had a section of the chassis that was the nitrous bottle,
Nice.
and he had a shader valve kind of deal that where he locked on and filled it and pressurized it. He had a tank. He had a pressure gauge on it, which he said was to check to see if it ever cracked, if the chassis cracked.
Okay.
So, right. So, if when you listen to that, you think, okay, that sounds right, right? Because if the chassis cracks, then obviously the gas will escape, or the air, in this case, he claimed it was air, would escape, and then you would know that you had a crack in the chassis, right? Or a hole
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, I guess
That makes
if you're not
perfect sense, right?
yeah,
But what it
and
really
you're having to go
was
quick.
it was the nitrous. It held nitrous, and it actually ran through the tube chassis of the car and out the hood pins right in front of the air cleaner. And so he would just give it a little hit every once in a while down the straightaway. So it never looked like he was gaining a bunch of speed. It was just a little better.
Yeah.
Just a little better.
It's just to give you that extra like half
Yeah.
a second or quarter of a second
Yeah.
ahead
So
of time
just a
before
little
going
bit
into the
extra,
curve.
just a little bit lower lap time, right? Just enough to win.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting because again, look, he had to be punished, right? Like we kicked him out. Like he was fined, he was kicked out. There was, it is what it is.
Mhm.
It's cheating. Once you get caught, all bets are off. And
Yeah.
I was constantly accused of cheating. I was torn down so many, like I basically counted on being torn down at the end of every event. Just because we were a small team that ran up at the top, up at the front, and so people automatically assume that you cheat and not that you're good.
Yeah. I remember us talking about that on a way earlier stream, but I kind of want to loop this back to the original topic.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
it
Yeah, I
was
kind of got off there, but so I
both
admire a
sides
good cheat.
Yeah.
I admire a good cheat, but it has to be punished, and you have to be as somebody else, as somebody looking for cheaters, you have to be willing to adapt and implement systems to where that cheating can't happen. Right. And like we've proven, who was the guy? Wasn't that there was a guy during the last election that proved that that accessed a Dominion machine on his cell phone? And then there was another instance where there was video footage of someone pulling a USB drive from a Dominion machine. Two things that are not supposed to be able to happen.
Yeah. More specifically, I don't think that was a USB drive, but it was a what's it called? Is this old it's a flash card.
Flashcard. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a more older tech you find in old cameras. But that's one thing distinct that I noticed when building these machines. They didn't have any external ports except for like a networking card, and then for that flash card, which probably only has maybe like 200 megabytes of like space on it. They're very like cheap machines. They weren't anything special.
Wolfpack, who is your uncle? Just type it there in the chat. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, that makes more sense than USB drive, but at any rate, so what do you think about that?
The data is not secure then. Plain and simple. It's there's so many layers that need to be put in on, like, let's give, for example, how the paper ballots are. When you put it into the box is locked, and only like one person typically holds the key into that building. And before they can even open it, it's like people have to be observing and witnessing where all these ballots are going. Whereas with something like a flash card that could fit in your pocket, it's like you could literally just rip it out and just be like, oh, here's like 10,000 votes right here. Just stick it in my pocket, walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there needs to be more security around it.
Well, and I think that's exactly what's happening now. I think that the sheer number of volunteer poll sitters and poll watchers and people that are just bound and determined to not let or to eliminate as much doubt as possible, right? The sheer number of people are hilarious. And I think it's really impressive. Imperious, I'm okay with being racist, pal. I don't see a problem with being racist. I don't like Swedish people like you. So,
yeah. Well, I have 10 minutes before getting into a meeting.
Okay.
I thought I'd jump on just to kind of give a snippet on that Dominion voting machines.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good show, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you came up and talked about that. We'll get the we'll get somebody else up here besides Imperious. I thought Chris Lestrange wanted to come up. Is he not coming up? Where did he go? Chris, you out there, buddy? Did all the car talk scare you off? I'm sorry.
Probably. All right. I'll catch you later, man.
Hey, thanks, Tiki Tack, and thank you for dropping by, man. I really appreciate it, and always happy to have you in the chat. So, hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, later.
Thanks, man. Bye. Oh, he has the link. Oh, he must be smoking then. That's what it is. So, yeah. You enjoy Imperious on the panel, Jack? Well, that's because you like chaos and whatever that is. But anyway. All right, guys. So yeah, the voting thing's going to be it's going to be interesting. I just don't think, because they've tried a couple, the leftists have tried a couple of times to cheat, and they've been caught, and that's that's just how that works. People will I do not want to impy up. I'm just not, and I'm not in the mood for Imperious today. I'm sorry, Shelby. And I'm not sorry, Imperious. It's just the way it is, man. I'm not there today. I'm too chill for that. You got too much angst. So you need to go listen to Green Day or something and chill the fuck out. Yeah, chaos. All right. I always thought Frank Black was an alt account of Jack, and here they are talking to each other, which is kind of like Inception of some kind. I don't know. Anyway, where's Chris Lestrange? What is he doing? I thought he was coming up. Joe Mobley. Where's Joe Mobley? Lestrange is probably like taking a leak. What he's probably doing. All right, guys, while we have a break, let me take a couple moments for station identification. Welcome to the Unreasonable Man. I am the Unreasonable Man, and this show is generically just me talking and rambling, and I have guests up. Occasionally we'll do a debate, but that's few and far between. And today we've had actually a couple of good topics already. We'll continue to have more. The format goes basically that I do a opening monologue. I have guests up, sometimes live, sometimes not. Sometimes they phone a friend or chat in, whatever. And basically, the last hour to hour and a half, I allow callers, and I do generally allow people from the chat that want to come up. And there's a it's a really good show. The meaning behind An Unreasonable Man comes from a 1907 quote in a play by George Bernard Shaw, that the reasonable man accepts the world around him for what it is. The unreasonable man seeks to mold the world to fit his desires. Therefore, all change must come from unreasonable men. Therefore, we need to be unreasonable men, because we quite honestly don't have much room, guys, to not do that. Yeah, and old George, man, he was George Bernard Shaw was a socialist fuck, but he did write some cool shit once in a while, like all of them, and I like using it. So anyway, I don't know what's going on in my chat right now. You guys are like being weird. Got to calm down. Got to calm down, guys. So yeah. Yep. All right. So I don't know what happened to the two gentlemen that were supposed to come up, which is fine. We'll just I'll just continue to monologue. Dano Wusaw. That's right, man. The yeah. Yep. All right. So anyway, guys, have you guys man, what was I going to talk about? So you guys so for guys that were not the fine hold grid channels back, I don't know. I mean, Jack helps out a lot. I mean, and when he's and for the most part he's not spurging. What's interesting I find is Imperius doesn't really get too traumatized by getting timed out and whatnot. No, we're not doing Imperius. Office of Secular Quranism. So I am a man, and therefore I almost always choose violence. And therefore I literally work hard every day to not be a violent person. It just is that way. All right, Jack. I got your message, man. Have fun with that. You'll do well. And so while peace is probably a great option, peace is always gained and held through violence, usually great violence. Mr. What's my opinion on the fact the left basically has given the middle finger to Silicon Valley, and now the social media groups are moving away from them? I mean, it's inevitable. Look, guys, when we talk about leftist, the number one thing you have to remember is they use people and then throw them away. It's just the way it is. You cannot expect anything more from them, because to assert their value system of social order and secularism, godlessness, to assert their world order, they really don't. There's no real room in there for anything more than temporary alliances, right? And basically it's, what can you do for me today? And if you can, and how much do you agree with me? And once those two things cross or run out, they're done with you. They just don't care anymore. And they turn on you faster than anybody else. They literally, the leftist, like, you can, like, look at this. If you're working with somebody who is a conservative, by nature, they're conservative. So if you do something wrong, they're going to give you a couple of good tries before they just give you the middle finger and tell you to go the hell away. But once they do, you're done. Whereas leftists, they only care about you when they need you. And here's the thing. Today, 2 years ago, the left really needed social media to be on their side. Social media was way happy playing into those ideals and just being lapdogs. Now they aren't as much, especially the way X is turning things around, and X is creating so much pressure on Facebook. Look, Facebook's a wasteland right now. My mom literally asked me the other day, "You just don't post on Facebook anymore? Your last post was like 60 days ago or something." I'm like, "Yeah, I just don't go there. Why would I? There's nothing there for me to see. I don't need there's no information that I gain from there. I will interact with people through Messenger because it's convenient. And I may read an article if someone tags me in the article, but other than that, I don't post there. I don't contribute. So why would I? And so Facebook has a real problem right now. Their market share is dropping, and it's going to go, and it's going to continue to drop. Why? Because X is exploding, because people can say basic, even the leftists like X, because you can say basically whatever you want there. They don't like it that, it's equal on both sides of the aisle, but hey, they'll take what they can get. And so the leftists have turned their backs on the social media companies, and rightfully so. I think that, if this is your viewpoint, if this is your world order, then, or this is the way you want things to go, then this is the behavior that you will exhibit, and you can't get away from it. And sorry, Joe, you walked in the middle of my monologue. Folks, welcome the great Joe Mobley. Joe Mobley, if you don't know, is a pundit, a reviewer, a all-around great guy. He has his own show, and he actually, his YouTube show needs to grow a lot. So if you guys if the mods can post Joe's show in the chat, just spam the crap out of that, and we'll get some. We need to make sure that Joe regains his former glory. At one point in time, Joe was actually a big deal, and YouTube nuked him, and he was, the man got him down.
Hey, I got that email list though. No, I enjoyed the
so much static on your line, sir. You have a connector loose or something.
Let me unplug and replug. I'm glad I wore pants.
We are too. Can you throw a challenge flag for Imperious? I don't know. I don't know what in what way.
Is that any better?
That is immensely better, sir.
Gave it the old Sega treatment, take it out and blowing it. We're talking about cables, folks. Talking about cables. Yeah. I will just say the not CYA, because I don't even work there anymore, but just happened to be wearing a Deloitte shirt today. So speaking on behalf of no one, speaking on behalf of myself, Joe Mobley, that's it.
It's not really in focus, so you're good.
Good.
So, what have you been up to, sir? I haven't seen you around much. You've obviously been very, very busy.
I was out of pocket at a conference in Omaha this week because last minute ad though, a colleague was supposed to go. His dad essentially needed some in-home care for the next 2 weeks, so he went out to take care of dad, which is great. And I got tagged to spend the week at this conference, so I am recovering. Anyone who's ever been to any type of work conference knows it's an all day and night success.
Every year, and then I went to PRI every year, and then I went to SHOT Show every year. So I sympathize. I sympathize.
Yeah, it's fun for about 2 hours, and then it's then you remember its work.
The first year I went to SEMA, it was just me wandering around looking at cool stuff. And then the second year I had meetings like all over the place. I was always getting pulled into a meeting or whatever. Imperious, how would you feel about debating an impromptu debate or discussion, at least, with a Muslim apologist? How would you like that? I might can arrange that.
A fan fiction, a Christianity fan fiction apologist. That's interesting.
Have you ever heard because I did not know this, but there's a legit documented kind of timeline of how the Catholic Church wrote the Quran and gave it to the Prophet Muhammad to bring disorder to the Protestants and obviously to attack the Catholics as well, to create division and push people more towards Catholicism than any of the other churches after the schism. You ever heard that? I read that, and it's like documented that there's some documentation that exists that says that could have happened, and everybody's like, no, the Catholics weren't that evil, they weren't that conniving, and I'm like, are you crazy? These people orchestrated the Crusades, bro. like, what do you mean they're not that?
The Crusades was a bit of a response, though.
Yeah, that's true. Their experiment went too far. Let me see if I can find where this person had messaged me, and I will tell them to go ahead and come on the show. Yeah, they're probably watching. Sure.
I've been so busy, and you know how into politics and news I am. I've been so busy, I haven't even finished the Joe Rogan Trump interview. I've only gotten to like the first 48 minutes.
I haven't either. It's interesting because everyone likes to act like everyone acts like I have all this time to watch other people's shows, and I have no time to watch anybody's show.
Well, one, I imagine you do this. So podcasts that I listen to, shows that I watch, I prefer the recording and I put it on 1.5 or 2 times. Unless it's like Ben Shapiro, you can't speed him up. You have to leave it down. But even like a show of yours that I've missed, if I'm like, if someone says, hey, you need to watch this, then I'll pull it up. I'll put it on 1.5, 1.75 and just let it rip. And I'm always doing something else. We can't, dude. We can't just sit there. Even if it's great content. Joe Rogan, he's not my favorite, but he's a great content creator, obviously. But I still don't have 3 hours to listen to anyone's interview.
Yeah. I haven't been able to see all of it. I've seen pieces of it, probably as much, kind of along lines of you. I have a what am I trying to think of? I have been very busy. So I've been actually working on project. I'm trying to get a lot of my projects that have kind of lingered done before what we consider bad weather here hits. Because, we don't really get but maybe 2 weeks of snow at the most. And so before all that hits, I'd really like to get everything taken care of. And I just haven't, honestly, had the time. So we'll see if I can get everything done. But I've had like CT and some others in the background. Did you catch CT's show yesterday when we were debating the Second Amendment with Reese? It wasn't really a debate. It was me trying to bludgeon him about the head with intelligence and him resisting a lot.
Now I got to check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty dope actually. And I've given you the stat about the school deletions versus kids in crosswalks. Have I given you that? You look confused. Okay. So if you had to guess how many children would why is your mic muted? What did you do? Oh boy. Tech support. Chris Lestrange, my man.
What's
Joe,
up,
can we hear you?
What's up, Joe?
We can't hear you, Joe. I don't know what you did, but you turned yourself off. It's a lot like your mom just walked in. You got completely turned off.
Can you at least hear me? It's usually me with the mic issues.
I know you actually sound good today. What did you invest in a $5 mic instead of the $3 one, or what?
I wish. A $3 mic is out of my price range, Greg.
You dug that one out of the trash and fixed it?
Yeah. I just the empty cans and a string is what I'm using currently.
Oh, that's perfect, man. That's perfect. That's obviously more reliable than whatever Joe's doing right now.
Damn straight.
Joe, can we hear you? Are you alive?
Good grief. Freaking struggling.
Hey, we heard
over
you.
here.
We heard you. All right. What'd you do, man?
Oh, hold on. There we go. I'm trying this connector in the USB hub because my USB hub is tapped out on USB-Cs, which my microphone cable is. Anyway, it didn't work, so I plugged it back into the actual laptop.
Gotcha.
Turned off like my mom walked in. Yeah. I wouldn't know what you... Was that a torch to light a cigarette?
Well, so Flow State does it. So he had to do it. He was over at Flow State's one night, and Flow State like lights his cigarette with just a regular propane torch, and so he has to go get a MAP gas torch to light his. He has a lighter sitting on his table right there. He's been using a lighter this whole time, right up until the time Flow State was like, and he's like, "Okay, that's cool. I'm going to do that." And
I have to one up Flow State. I can't let him have the biggest lighter in the room.
I mean, it's kind of in the rules that you have to one up.
You know what pissed me off? 4 planes, 4 to get in and out of this conference, and what? I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, my lighter with my cigar cutter, like everything all in one. I throw it in the bag, make sure it's not near anything else. Anyway, it's made it to many business trips with me.
Sure.
The last leg, I got one of those stupid little things, not the inspection thing. I got one of those Homeland Security notices that a dangerous or hazardous item has been removed from your luggage. And then they circle an option, and it was flammable. It was insecure, flammable, igniter, or whatever. And I'm like, this is such bull crap. So I lost a good cigar lighter yesterday. Maybe I'll get a torch to replace it.
Man down.
Bunch of pansies.
Dude, it was in a checked bag. Like, give me a break.
So
yeah, like, what are you gonna do with it?
I've had such an interesting. I've had a lot of interesting TSA stories, mainly because I usually fly with firearms, and I only fly Southwest with firearms. Every other airline doesn't take the time to train their employees how to deal with firearms, and so I had a Delta person that wanted me to put a lock in each hole that could be locked. Well, the gun case is set up to be locked in many ways, so it literally has like 8. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is going on an airplane. Why do you want me to add an extra 5 pounds to this thing? And fortunately, there was a guy there who's like, no, it's fine. Just, we've got some zip ties. We'll just zip tie it up.
Zip ties. Yep. One lock or 2 locks if it's got the little slide, and then zip ties, man.
Yeah.
I've dealt with them all. I've not. What's funny is I'm the reverse of you. I've not flown Southwest with firearms, so maybe I'll have to give them a go.
I love Southwest with firearms. Now things do change. I'm not going to say that it couldn't possibly suck now, but I mean, they always knew what needed to be done. So I want to say it was United. It could have been Delta. One of the ladies at the counter literally made me take my rifle out of its case and show her that it was clear, that it was unloaded.
I've had them ask me that. The people
They
that
always
wear
ask.
the little flight attendant type uniform, like the Southwest, and I've told them no. I told them if you want to open the case, or if you want the firearms handled, you got to call TSA or the police over here, because I'm not handling a firearm with a freaking because they're just wearing.
That sounds like they're
little,
trying to trap you, dude. That sounds like entrapment right there.
Yeah. And a couple of times it's made it worse. It's made it so that the TSA guy will be like, all right, well, let's go in this back room to make me more comfortable. I'm like, I'm comfortable. I'm just not without one of you guys here. Because
I've got so many stupid TSA stories. All right, so the woman that made me show the rifle clear, I literally lifted the rifle up, pulled the bolt back, showed her it was clear. She didn't even really look at it. She didn't know what I was doing. Put the bolt forward, pulled the trigger, put it back in the case. That was the only time it's ever happened. Another time flying Delta, they didn't have the Delta people don't know how to handle it. So they actually, instead of like locking the case, putting it on the trolley and sending it down the TSA like they're supposed to, and they take my phone number. So if there's a problem, TSA calls me and I come back. So Southwest always says stay in the area for 10 or 15 minutes. If you don't get a call, you're just assume you're fine, right? And that's what I do. Delta, on the other hand, calls a TSA guy up. Now he's mad, like he's ticked. All right, they call the TSA guy up. Hey, firearm, whatever. Guy comes up. Guy obviously had never done this before. He swabs the outside of the case, which is fine. They always do that. They're looking for explosive residue. That's fine. Why, if I were going to do something like that, why would there be explosive residue on the outside of the case? I don't know, but okay, whatever. You do you. And then he has me open the case, and that's weird. Got a TTS coming in, guys. Just 1 second.
Mr. Boulay and the Department of Numismatics donated $10 super chat. Attention in the chat. Moment of silence for Joe's quality cigar lighter Sparky. Sparky gave his gas to light the way for all stogies. May he rest in peace.
Since you guys can't hear that, since you're in
thank you, Mr. Belay.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. That was
Sparky.
That was
Pour some out for Sparky.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then, of course, Michelle, the degenerate, has to come in. My degenerate mod, Michelle, has to come in with degeneracy. That's okay. It's fine.
Hey, at least Michelle's boobs aren't out. Sorry, Kat, if you're in the chat. But
Kat was on the show last night. You missed out.
Yeah.
Kat was on the show.
Shoulders out is fine. Boobs out is different.
Yeah. Kat was on the show last night. It was, dressed appropriately, of course, because she came on my show. And
she's getting bad influence from the whatever goals grid.
No, it's a different story. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what's up with that. But anyway, so the guy comes up, he swabs the outside of the case. That's fine. Then he opens the case. Now, generally they don't open the case because by now I've already locked it. But in this case, it wasn't locked yet. So he opens the case. Joe, he swabbed the outside of the pistol case, the soft pistol case that was in there, and the inside of the case. And I'm like, obviously there's residue in those places.
Yeah.
And so he calls his supervisor.
Almost like there's some combustible powders in there.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
night.
shocking, right? So he calls his supervisor up. The supervisor is now the supervisor's angry and tears that guy a new ass and tells me to just, have a good day, sir, and all that. But it's never it's flying with guns is just. I've never had that big a problem with it, and I've never been held up at pickup. I've never had any issues there. But it's with different airlines. They're just they're incompetent, is what they are.
Now, I don't know if this has been your experience, but I had this happen to me twice, and I thought as a social experiment, let me try this other way just to see what happens, and I've been doing it ever since. When I've traveled with one firearm, just one, I'm gonna bring a carry gun with me, so traveling to a place where I can carry, I get the weird looks, the weird like I'm some kind of psycho. So just on the flyer, I was flying out of Dallas one time when I was stationed in Fort Sill out in Oklahoma. I said, I'm going to bring a handful of guns, multiple pistols and like 2 rifles. If I bring a plethora of firearms, I'm fine. It's almost like they're like, okay, this person is like a competent whatever, but I get more crap if I just bring one tiny little pistol, one subcompact pistol. They're like, this guy's a terrorist, a hitman. He's going to
Arsenal is the way to go.
Apparently.
So here's the thing. I suggest that no one fly with just a carry gun because that's how they get stolen. And if you do fly with a pistol and a pistol case in your bag, in your checked bag, like a lot of people, they get a nice hard case, they put their pistol in there, they put a couple of mags, maybe a box of shells, put it all together, lock it up, put it in the carry-on or their checked bag, and then they lock the checked bag with a TSA lock because that's the law. Well, what was happening was that during baggage handling, especially in Atlanta and Chicago, there was they broke up a huge thing.
Go figure.
Yeah, right. In Atlanta and Chicago, people would just those gun cases would disappear, and your firearm was stolen out of your luggage while in TSA custody. Can't do anything about it, right? It's a government
agency. Which is the problem with labeling everything firearm all the time.
Yeah, we don't do that. I don't do that ever either. So, if you are going to carry just a pistol case, you need to get a steel cable, like a bike lock, or go down to the hardware store and get them to make you up a length of quarter inch, 3/32 quarter inch steel cable, and just make 2 holes in the lining of your suitcase and put it around the steel frame of your checked bag, and then lock the case into your bag. But I almost always fly with my 3-gun gear, which means I have a rifle, a shotgun, and 2 pistols in a max case that nobody is. Look, you're not slipping that in a backpack,
Yeah.
You're not throwing that under your jacket and just walking out with it. And it's always I have it down to a science where it's we have a Southwest has a 50-pound bag limit before you go oversized. My bag is always 48 to 49 and a half pounds, depending on which gun I take. And every single time. And they're like, "You've done this before," and I'm like, "Yeah." Also, rule number 1 is you never put the locks on it until after they weigh it, because the locks add another pound.
Nice.
Yeah. I've got this down to a science.
I wasn't saying that we label things firearms there. When the program first kicked off,
that's right.
Now they have you open it and they put this is a declared firearm that's been checked inside the case. But you guys, these geniuses, you guys have done it, but the guys in the chat, these geniuses that came up with this program, when it first launched, they would look at all your stuff, then they would close the case. And yeah, I was going to say tape. You're right. It was a sticker. They would put a sticker on the outside that said, "This is a firearm." And guess what? They kept going missing. Craziest thing. That's like putting, this is jewels and family heirlooms is the blue sticker.
I mean, we could go the rest of the show on the number of federal crimes that the feds commit inside airports. So I had so first of all, they can't do they're not supposed to do the sticker, but they would tell people, we need to put this sticker on your gun case, and people would comply just because we're so used to complying. They asked me one time, they're like, we need to put this sticker on your gun case. I'm like, the hell you do? Like, there's no way, no way. And and my case is plain. If it could be a guitar, it could be a snowboard. You don't know, right? But it's
Grid rocks the Desperado route. He has a guitar case full of guns.
I wish.
Just put medical supplies sticker on it, and then Viagra. No one will steal it. Just like a Viagra logo.
Yeah.
I also learned a sneaky trick from the foam guys. That apparently they put their drugs in foam canisters because those can't be scanned.
That's interesting.
I did not know that.
In film canisters, yeah.
Yeah, the old school foam because it destroys the foam.
Yeah. So I have a.
Oh, I thought you said foam film. Yeah.
Film.
Yeah,
he's
foam.
South African. The O is silent.
Oh, respect for my African brother over here. Chris Lestrange, you might be the most interesting man alive. You got the guitar, Africa, you got the torch, the stash.
Bro, that's why I want to come visit Greg in the States, man. Then I'll be his African American friend.
Yeah, I couldn't. I'm just from here, so it's up to you.
So I have now I've been caught at TSA. TSA is a hassle. Checking guns not a hassle. TSA is a hassle because well, first off, I have gotten through TSA. I've been and not that I was hassled or singled out. It was my fault technically. But I would go through security and there'd be a bullet in my luggage because I've been out shooting and it was in my pants pocket or something. They dig it out and they just throw it in the garbage or whatever. In Oklahoma City, I almost the guy wanted to detain me because I had three or four bullets in the pocket of my backpack where I'd been out shooting. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot those. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna have to write this up. And I'm like, I don't think so. And fortunately, his supervisor came over and was like, "Nah, you just throw them away and let them go. It's no big deal."
Yeah, the common sense test is, and just from my background, I had to deal with some of these things too. And even FTO would say for people that who had stray rounds in secure area, we would just look at them, and if it looks like something you pulled out of someone's belly button, it's covered in lint and dust, and then it's which could happen to any gun guy. It could happen to anyone who does the +1 and has a round in their pocket or puts it in the coin pocket of their jeans.
Yeah.
That's not a bad actor. A bad actor is going to have new rounds right out of the box or something like that. Just common sense. Somewhere. Yeah. When you look at the guns in your case, you're like, and this guy's going to shoot a 3-gun. This guy's got hundreds or possibly thousands of rounds. So these 4 is now not a lot. It's an oversight.
Yeah.
But
so I've never, I had this card that changed into a knife that I took away from my son. I put it in my wallet and they found that it made it through 5 airports before one airport finally figured it out. So that was fine. And then I had what else? My son still laughs about this. I had a pen. It is a steel pen, and I think it had a tungsten carbide cap to it. And I had it. It was an aluminum pen with a tungsten carbide cap. They checked me through security, I think in Vegas or somewhere, and the woman was like, "You can't have this. It's a weapon." And I'm like, "It's a pen." And she's like, "This is a weapon." I'm like, "No, it's a pen. I'll write with it. Let me show you." And she's like, "Well, we're gonna have to throw that. You know, we're gonna have to keep it, or you throw it away, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Keep the pin. I know you want the pin. I know it's cool. And so she got my cool pin. And then, but the most egregious thing I've ever done, and we'll get into the feds doing egregious things. The most egregious thing I've ever done is I'd been out shooting with some. Well, I'd been at a match. And since I don't shoot suppress during the match, I'd put the suppressor in the suppressor pocket of my backpack.
Oh man,
That's
not good.
Security, and the guy pulls it out and he says, "What is this?" Now, if I had said it's a special muffler for my lawnmower, I probably would have just walked through security with my suppressor.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
But I said, "Oh, damn, that's a suppressor." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was in there." And he's like,
Greg, did I tell you?
So the guy's like really confused because first of all, he has to remember what a suppressor is, right? He doesn't really understand what it is, but then he doesn't know what to do about it because it's not a gun, right? But he's like, he doesn't know what to do about it. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I mean, call your superior over. I mean, it'll be fine. And so what they do, just if you guys ever want to, I mean, if you guys want to experience this, that was a Gym Tech. That was a Gym Tech can. So I've since sold it, but if that happens to you, and this happens more than you think, if it happens to you, it happens the same thing if you carry your, I've made it all the way basically through security and gotten caught at the hand wand with my EDC. I was literally armed. I had my pistol on me, and they're like, "Sir, you're armed." And are you law enforcement officer? I'm like, "No, damn it, I forgot. I'll go back to the car."
This is the time where I'll say maybe white privilege is a thing. I usually say it doesn't. If we go back to if I take my, I'm an upstanding citizen. I have nice weapons. I've got, Daniel Defense rifles and whatnot. If I take one of those bad boys out and clear it, I fully expect to be shot at the airport.
Honestly, I was
when you were telling that story. When you were telling that story, I was like, maybe white privilege is real, man. Because holy smokes!
No, it's my attitude, Joe.
Chris, would you do that?
I wanted to say it was Greg saying with his pen, dude. I got my ass lit up in Hong Kong International Airport at 14, dude. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I walked through to get on my connecting flight, and man, about 4 or 5 security just started yelling. They all grabbed me, pinned me down on the ground, was yelling in Asian or Mandarin or whatever the fuck. I didn't know what was going on, and eventually I heard one say bomb, and I'm like, oh shit, the fuck is going on? And they kept yelling bomb at, the only thing I understood was bomb. And I'm like, no bomb, no bomb. And they rip open my bag and pull out a pen. But it was a shock pen. So you give it to somebody and it shocks them.
Yeah.
And they thought it was a detonator.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought it was a detonator, dude. So they lit my ass up.
So I think a lot of it has to do with just sheer attitude and bravado. Because I'm going to finish up the suppressor thing, and then I'll go back to the EDC. But because the suppressor thing was the suppressor thing, I was about to get charged with a federal crime. And
they treat suppressors as fire. So NFA items, TSA will treat as a firearm.
Mm-hmm. So, and in that case, I couldn't take it back out to my car because I was in Utah or in Vegas, and I couldn't just walk back out to my car. My car was here, so I needed to get on the plane to walk it out to my car, and so that wasn't happening. And so what they do is they confiscate the suppressor. You have to fill out a form, and that at some point I think it took about, man, it was probably 2 months, maybe 10 weeks. I get a letter from the TSA, or actually it's Department of Homeland Security, saying basically that I was found in possession of a weapon trying to go through airport security, and either I could go to court and plead my case, or I could pay $800, and that could be up to $10,000 in fines, several years in federal pound me in the ass prison, or
glad I'm headphones.
What's that?
I'm glad headphones today.
And so none of the options, so that option was subpar, or I could pay $800 and get my suppressor back and just plead to, trying to, just some minor thing. I was like, yeah, I'll send you a check for $800. I'll pay the fine. No problem. I don't need to risk.
Yeah.
And
Grid, like I was also apparently meant to get into a lot of trouble in China for that shit as well. But at 14, I already had beard. So I thought it was cool that I could buy cigarettes and booze there because they're all Asian. They think I'm of age. But as soon as they all obviously tackled me and, pinned me down and all of that, when they looked at my passport and they saw I'm 14, I think that's the reason I ended up getting off, was because I was underage.
Dang.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are no, I'm kidding about the race thing. It's yeah, I follow all everyone follows all of the rules with the firearms and stuff. But no, I don't.
It's
okay,
I don't Joe. I have less
don't,
white privilege because I look like I have drugs on me. So
it's here's the thing, and I actually did joke about and I would say to Grid about the race thing, handling firearms. Here's the unfortunate truth. I believe that my contemporaries, security professionals of all different ilks, whether they be cops, federal agents, Homeland Security, investigators, whatever, many of them, the vast majority, easily 3 out of 4, are completely incompetent. So I expect through sheer incompetence, someone with an empty weapon that has no magazine. I mean, you look at that clip of the Delta operator, and he's talking about when he's auditioning for Delta. He's not even in Delta yet. He was a Green Beret, and who was going to be his squad leader later. They go into the room. The guy's right there in his face with an AK-47. He puts his rifle down, punches him in the face, body slams him. And he's like, hey, why didn't you waste that guy? And he was like, the selector lever was up and the AK wasn't charged and all of this stuff. He sees in an instant. That's the exception, not the rule. You could be in the airport with the safety thing in, no magazine, the charging handle is back. They're still gonna light you up, dude. They're totally incompetent. So I don't handle firearms in the airport at all.
I did it, so
now I say if you want to handle the firearm, you got to call your own guy over. I'm not doing it. Yeah. It's the only time I let people finger bang my weapons, just in the airport. Grid, are you? Can we play a 6-second clip from a movie? That's fair use.
Yeah.
All right, let me send you this link, because whenever they I'll drop it in Discord. Whenever they ask me why so many guns, why do you have so many guns? And I know it's a risk telling a joke, but I always say this classic movie line.
I'm going to just really quickly finish my EDC story. So what happened with the EDC was I'm so used to wearing it, I totally forgot I even had it. Make it all the way through security. And I get hand wanded just randomly, and they find it, and I'm like, oh crap, got a gun on me. They're like, sir, you have a gun on you, and I'm like, yeah, I just realized that I always have a gun on me, so I wasn't thinking about it. I'm in kind of a hurry, whatever. And they're like, well, first of all, they wanted to, they're like, don't touch the weapon, sir, and I'm like, what am I, an idiot? You know, I'm like, and then they had some old guy came over there, and he's like, "What's going on?" Yeah, this guy's got a gun. He's like, "Are you a cop?" No. Why do you have a gun on you? I'm like, well, I just sort of forgot, and I'm in a big hurry. I carry it every day. He looks at it because they got it on the counter by now. You know, they didn't let me keep it and handy, and they have it all unloaded and everything. And they're like, well, and he can see it's all well worn, and obviously I carry this thing every day or most days. He says, okay, you've got two choices. It's always the two choice thing. Like two choices. We can arrest you. We can arrest you. It'll ruin my day. It's going to certainly mess yours up. And, the gun's going to be locked in a cabinet for the next year while you go to court to get it back. And, it's just going to be a bad day for you. And you're going to miss your flight and everything. He's like, do you have time to go take it back to your car? Or do you have someone that you can give it to get it off of airport property or whatever? And I'm like, I'll take it back to my car. And I did. I ran all the way back to the car. I did the O.J. Simpson airport run.
Yeah, I'd rather miss the flight than miss the next 10 to 15.
Right. And that might have been white privilege, even though it was a black guy that was talking to me. He may have just been like so awed by my white presence that he was just like, I just don't want to put this guy in jail. But honestly,
he was like, nah, this guy is too cool to be an actual bad guy.
I think that's it couldn't be that I was just that cool. It just had to be that it was white privilege. So,
like a bad guy would have been trying to get over, and you were just like, oh, well, stuff happens.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I think the thing that really got it was I was like, hey, you know what? This has happened to me before with a suppressor. And if you guys are going to, just give me the paperwork, I'll sign it. You guys can lock the gun up, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, sir, this is a little different than your suppressor. he's like, on this one, we're going to have to take you to jail on this one. I'm like, okay, that changes this entire dynamic.
Yeah, it's always funny when a cop tells you have two choices. It usually means you have only
Why is
one
it always
choice.
two
The other
choices?
choice is always jail. The other choice is always jail.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think Grid was plotting something. He's got a suppressor and a 22 and a single polished 22 round and a handkerchief and
Grid's
I'm
an
like,
assassin, dude. Grid's he's a stone cold assassin.
Yeah, he's got one rubber glove. Like, what the crap? Oh, I always carry this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got the Agent 47 starter guide in his back pocket going through TSA.
Got like 3 passports, different currencies.
That link I sent you, it should start the clip. So it doesn't play the whole thing. It should start it at 19 seconds. But that's the classic movie line that I always deliver when they say, "What are you? Why so many guns?"
Grid, do you have like those John Wick gold coins that you gotta use at the hotel where you stay?
Well, if I did, I couldn't talk about it.
That's true. Fair
point. Like, that's Fight Club, man. That's even worse than Fight Club. That's Kill Club.
You trying to get me killed? I'm just saying.
He's been marked already. Your innuendo was enough.
You're causing problems in my life, bro.
He's giving away the methods out here. Well, I'm impressed. This must have been before the body scanners. Those body scanners are always weird to me. I always feel like they get whoever's the biggest pervert.
The body scanner didn't pick up the gun. I was randomly hand wanded later.
You know why? Because they're just looking at everyone's privates. They're not looking. That's all the person at the body scanner is doing.
It may have been that back at this is a great conversation. Why is it that some days you have to take your belt off to go through security? Other days you don't have to take your belt off. Why is that? Because this
are you talking about they're asking you to take it off, or some days belts get through and sometimes it doesn't?
No, I think some days they're like, you have to take your belt off, and they're over there like they got 3 guys over there. Take your belt off, shoes in the bucket, blah blah blah, whatever. And then I'm just like, Yeah, okay, I guess.
I always got to empty my fucking pockets. I look too sketchy. They always like, nah. You get over to the side, bruh. Empty pockets and see what's in your shoes.
Chris gets the special screening.
He gets this.
Yeah.
He's randomly
Every time.
screened. He's randomly screened.
Now I fly with like a suit and a tie, and I tie my hair up and like carry a Bible just to try and avoid the being late for my flights.
When I was in the Army band, the military drug test period. I hear myself.
All right,
I'll be
we're gonna
quiet.
play this. No, wait. Did I? I have it muted. Sorry. Hang on. Play it again.
You just go back to 19.
Field that specializes in responding to escalated cartel activity. You'll be part of the team.
Yeah, we're gonna go see Guillermo.
Diaz's brother.
That's the one.
Where is he?
Oh, he's in the El Paso area.
Mom. What's our objective?
To dramatically overreact.
I like that a lot. That's good.
That's what I say when they're like, why so many guns? To dramatically overreact. And they laugh and then we go.
Yeah. Let me just smile a lot. I find that the more you smile, the worse people feel about you, and they don't want to talk to you anymore.
You gotta be stoic.
You know, they dramatically overreact to the fact that I'm smiling in a threatening manner. So that's okay.
Yeah, no cavity searches, chat. Calm the fuck down. You're all being weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if the mic is still doing that thing or not, but yeah, it was super loud. I heard it too. Hopefully it's back. I think it was just for the screen share. Yeah, it was just during the screen share.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so no, what
It's
I meant
cool.
is
You sounded like the Wizard of Oz, man. It was epic.
it's always so interesting to me that people, or that they want you to put all of your stuff on the thing. Sometimes laptops out of the backpack. Sometimes they don't care. Sometimes you have to take your belt off. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes they want your hat to take your hat off. Sometimes they don't. And I think this is one of the times where they didn't make me take my belt off. And since I was appendix carrying Keltec, it was probably they just figured it was my belt buckle. I'm like, it's about where it ought to be. And then I got randomly wanded.
You know that scene where Ron Swanson says to the guy in Home Depot, "I know more than you," and it just smooths it over. When you have credentials, that's kind of the experience with TSA. When you have certain credentials that some of us have held at one time or another, so that's the best way to go through the airport. When it's
I don't get those.
Yeah, when
was
TSA
Matt Dillahunty on your show? Was Matt Dillahunty on your show?
No, Imperius was on Matt Dillahunty's show, and Dillahunty insulted him, and of course, the next thing that happens is Imperius calls him a ball licker, as he should.
But I mean, that's fair. That's not even an insult, isn't that like just a statement of fact?
Isn't that what I feel like that Dillahunty probably licks a lot of balls in his life?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
like,
glad
if you're
you
gay,
read
dude,
that.
you just be like, yeah, that's Wednesday. The fuck are you saying? I'm like, yeah, it's just what you do, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Don't get mad about it. Don't get mad about being a ball licker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You are what you are.
Yeah. All what you eat.
So the thing about the reason I have no respect for Dillahunty is he massively rage quit in 30 seconds or less
with Andrew
Wilson. I mean, that was
literally
some
bitch moves.
It honestly to me, I've watched it a few times. To me, it now feels like that he went in there so pissed off he couldn't even think straight, and he was just looking for a reason to walk out of that room.
But Grid, let's be real. Andrew literally took the like intro grenade, pulled the pin, and he dropped it just to see what would happen. Let's be real. He goaded him, but the fact that he couldn't control it and just bitched out was
Well, if you're
losing
already
respect
all right, let's just say that most people go to an anger level of like 5. And you're already at a 4.5. All it really takes is one little book, and boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
It's like nitroglycerin bouncing around in the back of a buckboard wagon. At some point, it's going to hit just right. It's going to be exciting.
No, for sure. Because the thing is, no matter what Andrew comes in, even if he insults you in the intro, if your response after that is to get up and walk away, I mean, that's such a Karen move for real in a debate.
Well, it's interesting because I think, and as we enter the last hour of the show, this is an interesting topic to get into. Why do you care? It's a guy. Well, I mean, obviously that was in person, so I would care even less. But why would you care online, especially? Why would you rage quit?
Like, I mean, he does debates. That's what makes it worse. He knows what a debate can be. It's a confrontational situation you're putting yourself in, and now you want to act like a child.
Now I can see not taking it seriously. I can see kind of purposefully being obstinate or sabotaging the conversation because you don't feel like they're being genuine with you.
I think you just got to get over it. I lost a debate to Hunter Avalone when he was like getting started, and that's pathetic because he's an idiot. And should I? Sure, I'd like another round, but anyway, I didn't rage quit or anything. It's just like, okay, I keep going back at this argument. I'm not articulating my perspective well. And it's whatever, it happens. There's no, especially from a man, the rage quitting and the voice is getting louder and higher, and I'm like, you're freaking out like you're fighting for your life.
He didn't even do the man's thing. He like a man would get upset and visibly show anger. He was like a kid that got bullied and Andrew just gave him a wedgie and he ran home. It's like, dude, like he just packed up his stuff and left.
You know what it was really like, Chris? It was really like the kid whose parents have told him all morning that he is not getting a new fire engine for Christmas. And they go to the store and he asks for the fire engine and they say no. And he's just like, fucking fire engine! It just runs out and runs all the way back to the car. It's just
little
hilarious.
puffy cheeks.
Little puffy cheeks. It was
I volunteered.
And I see Imperious says Andrew's scared of him. Imperious, Andrew is not scared of you. It's like, come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Cope. The Cope. Fucking living in Copistan over there. Copenhagen. Hardcore, bro.
No. He's overdosing on copium. That's okay.
Copious amounts of copium.
But interestingly enough, I think that so many people try to debate now or try to be part of a debate sphere that don't necessarily have the personality for it, and they really do get angry. They really do get like super wound. Like, and then you have people who are just absolutely pathetic about it. Like I was on a channel the other night. Tiki Tac was having a debate. And they had actually finished the main debate. It was Tiki Tac versus Non-John or something like that. And it was basically, supposedly it's supposed to be like, Trump, why are you voting for Trump versus, and why they are voting for Kamala, which isn't really a debate, which is just kind of weird. But they had this debate already. Nobody told me who they felt won, but I came in because it was basically a 3v1 on Tiki Tack, and then I showed up and somebody else showed up, and then it was pardon me, it was me and Tiki Tack, and then Teriak and Glenn showed up, and then I left, but and that was on Process's channel, and he did it. He has a good personality to be a moderator because he doesn't really get angry, and he's very fair.
Process.
You've probably seen him around. He's a weird dude. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're talking about Process is quite mellow.
Yeah, he's very even, and he basically, I think that he leans way left, but he was willing to at least engage and interact on in good faith.
Yeah, he's been on Verbal Combat, and I mean everybody gave him shit as well, but he stuck in there quite well. So I was impressed. He's not too much of a bitch,
Yeah. So it's an interesting. At any rate, I give him props for that. But if he wants to be a debate channel, he's going to have to kind of toughen up. He's going to have to be more. What's the word I'm looking for?
The problem is if you're a moderator, you can't be too mellow. You need to have a little bit of balls because you kind of have to be authority figure to control the conversation. If shit gets out of hands, people should actually shut up and listen to you. If you, if you lay down the rules.
Yeah. So the thing about Process is he needed to, and this is just my opinion. If he were in the chat right now, I'd bring him up and I would tell him the same thing. So I'm not talking behind the guy's back at all. If he wants to have a conversation, he can PM me on Discord, whatever. So
it sounded like you said he could pee on me. He can DM me.
Where is your brain at? I said PM.
It's just the diction, man. Am I the only one that heard that? Okay, never mind. My ears don't. I knew I couldn't read or use the internet, but I guess I can't hear either.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's your black privilege.
Yeah.
I've been on CT's panel too long.
I was talking to someone in real life, and I almost said something about acknowledging white woman privilege. And to make it even worse, it was like at a work thing. It was like at a work, like dinner.
Yeah.
My brain, we spend too much time up here. Your brain gets corrupted.
Yeah.
And I was, because someone interrupted a white lady at dinner, and I was about to be like, where's your white woman privilege? Anyway.
You sometimes in normal conversation have to holster the debate fire that you keep in your pocket and be like, not today.
True.
Yeah. I think the only criticism I could really give Process, because again, I thought he did quite well, and I think I told him so when I did my when I had to leave. But he just has to be able to stop the chaos at times, because like there was a point where, and both of you guys will get this. If you have a point and you're trying to, or if your opponent is trying to make a point with statistics, we all know not to use statistics in an actual debate, because whatever statistic you give me, I'm going to deny the accuracy of it, and then I will give you a statistic which you will deny the accuracy of, and therefore, who cares about any of these statistics? And I even I several times I said, well, I can, and specifically the statistic was that there was an economist report that said tariffs hurt the economy and drive up wages. And I'm like, yes, it does say it can do that, but it can also do this. And what you're doing is you're extrapolating and using a couple of, and there was a paragraph where it did say that they feel like that every time tariffs are tried, this happens. Now, they have no documentation of this. It's just economists theorizing, right? And I stipulated, I'm like, yeah, sure. Tariffs can have that effect. They can also be helpful. I will concede your point. You obviously won't concede my point. So let's just move on. And it was an hour, bro. An hour. Mr. was there. It was and Stepfire was there too. It was an hour going back and forth of me saying, dude, I concede your point, but you're not conceding my point that they can be helpful. And it was just going back and forth and around and around. And it's just not, it just really wasn't, it wasn't good. It started to devolve into bad faith. And Francis should have moved the conversation on. He should have just said, hey, this point is dead. You're not going to agree. Let's just move forward. And maybe he could have said, all right, is there something you can agree on? Is there a middle ground where you can agree? Which probably we could have. It doesn't matter. And we should have just moved on to the next topic, or moved on to the next phase of that topic. Clear, and just left that behind. And what it really did was what it really devolved to was just them constantly referring to their sites and studies, and me basically saying, so why do I care about your site and study? Right.
Yeah, but something interesting
Current
that you mentioned,
arguments.
Grid, with
where they are
with
and then they would give
but
loaded
with the-
questions like, you have to agree. Would you agree that something? Then they would just give loaded questions, and Tiki Tac actually refused to answer one. He's like, no, that's a loaded question. Well, and I think it was about, do you think Trump was misinformed or lied when he said that that the Chinese would pay the tariffs? And I said, look, I think his message could have been better, but overall, the Chinese very well may pay the tariffs. You don't understand. We don't have any idea how he's going to structure these tariffs. We don't know how this is going to go. You are drawing a conclusion before we have any actual facts, and I can't do that. I'm unwilling to. So no, I can't give you an answer on that, other than I do believe that Trump could refine his message a little better. Although I understand why he doesn't, which is he has to appeal to lower information voters, people that don't even know what a tariff is. And so politicians often use broad sweeping terms. That's what they do. And they were really stuck on on their studies, which I thought was weird. Yeah, they had tunnel vision for their narrative. That's right. Yeah, I don't use leftist talk. Yeah.
But
you
Greg,
go to
something
Destiny's
that you
channel.
mentioned.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah,
I was
well,
just
something
reading
that you
from
mentioned with with the debates is a lot of people. It's something I luckily learned beforehand with stand-up comedy. Is a lot of people don't understand when you're actually in a debate, your brain goes to fucking mush, and you can't get words, you can't get your points, and you're having to think on the spot. And that sometimes glitches out when you're in a high pressure situation, and it does take time to be able to handle that.
Yeah. Well, I also think that people just get, as Mr. says, they just get tunnel vision. And since you're saying words that they don't expect, they just don't listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. is right. Their argument was basically is that tariffs are only on the consumer, which is wrong. But you couldn't make you could not, even when I gave them specific examples, they would not do that. So they wouldn't.
Yeah, but that's.
But
a
I didn't
problem.
matter
If you're
anything.
using
One
logic.
guy was like kind of spurging out, like he was kind of like, and the other guy talked as fast as Destiny. I guarantee you, he's a DGG guy, and that's fine. I'm not being overly critical. I felt like I wish I had known more about the debate before going in, because I came in cold. And then, of course, they went on to Jan 6, and I gave Glenn some skewed information based on my own viewpoint, which I was wrong, but also kind of right, and I don't know. But it ended up working out pretty good. They spurred terribly amount.
Yeah, the spurging happens when people don't have arguments. That's usually when the spurging starts.
Also
When you
happens
corner
when the
them and they don't have
moderator-
arguments.
if you're going to have and actually that brings up a good point. So one of the things that I dislike in the debate sphere right now is if Joe and I were to have a debate and it's set for an hour, which is ridiculous. You need 3 hours to do a debate. But let's just say we were going to do an hour debate or a 2-hour debate, right? And then do callers. That's and that's the way Andrew does it, and I think that's reasonable, right? Even if you said I'm doing an hour and a half of debate and we're going to do an hour and a half of callers, that's totally reasonable. 3-hour show, perfect.
Yeah.
What they did, which I think is wrong, I think the debate sphere needs to move away from it, and I think they need to copy Andrew Wilson 100%. There is no open panel after the debate. You don't get to go up and debate the people who just debated because you want to.
Yeah,
right?
but sometimes it's fun, Grid. A little bit of chaos.
And organize another debate.
Sprinkle a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, organize another debate. Or come in as a caller. You can always come in as a caller. You get 5 or 10 minutes. You make your point. You go away. That's the problem with the way Proncess was doing it. Proncess really needs to follow the Andrew Wilson model. Plus, he can grift more. And as soon as he gets monetized. Which, by the way, guys, if you haven't been over to Proncess's channel, please go over, watch some of his stuff, get him some watch hours. He is a little bit on the fairy side of things, but that's okay. And go over there, watch his stuff, like, subscribe, do all the things. Subscribing costs you nothing, and it'll help him get monetized, and that'll help him out. So please do that. He is a really look, he seems like a good dude. He might stab everybody in the back down the road, but for right now, he seems like a good dude. Sure, yes, Michelle, he leans to the fairy side. That's okay. I don't know that he is. I'm just saying he's a little bit on the effeminate side. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
You can balance out the fairiness. You can go over to my channel and watch me make shit with power tools.
There you go.
Go sub at my channel. You can balance it out.
Absolutely. And I strongly suggest that if you're going to do debates, watch Andrew Wilson's debates and how they roll, because that is exactly how an online debate should be done. So,
yep. Agreed.
Unless you want a circus like Verbal Combat, which there's a place for that too. I actually like the circus aspect of Verbal Combat. If it didn't end at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I could get into it, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
The thing is, that's like the bare knuckle fights, Grid. It's where ad hominems fly. You need to yell to get your point in, otherwise people ignore you. It's proper, getting trial by fire, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of a circusy kind of thing where, which is fine. Look, that's needed. I think it's important in the debate sphere. It can toughen you up a little bit. It can pull you outside of your comfort zone, and certainly people will absolutely dislike it, because why wouldn't they? Why would somebody that wants a nice, clean debate where they can come in with their stack of papers and just roll and just flip through their argument and their stats, and they can have 15 Wikipedia windows open. So that
that's
they have
the thing
all
with that. You can't prepare. The thing is, when you're going in there, you don't know what you're debating. It's let's go, fucking fight, get to it. Bell rings and let's go. That's what makes it good, and it does definitely increase your debate skills. I mean,
yeah. So, at any rate, it's there's a place for both styles. I think the in between is what I have I just don't think it's successful. The in between is not successful, right?
It's either got to be legit structured or just free flow chaos.
Yeah. It's either got to be the circus act, or it has to be the pro series, right? So
yeah.
And I like the circus act. I honestly, I wish I could be on Verbal Combat more.
I enjoy it. I'd like to fight you again, Grid.
Yeah? I never seen anybody so anxious for an L in my life.
Yeah.
Another L, by the way. A second one.
You say that, though.
You'll have a match set. I gave myself an L on the
You say
debate.
that, though.
I gave myself an L on my performance the other night on the Process deal because I actually sat there for 2 hours and went back and forth with those idiots. So that's an L on me. I'll take that all day. That's no good, man. That's no good. Arthur Daya, I see you wandered in. How are you, Miss Arthur Daya?
Yeah, but actually, I don't find it fun to debate people I actually like. I want to like be mad at the person I'm debating, so I can unleash my wrath because I'll hold back.
Unleash the wrath.
Yeah, that's why like with me and Brick, we can like roast the shit out of each other and just yell at each other. I like that when I have animosity. It's hard if I respect the person because I'm kind of like I don't want to go too full force.
Nah, no such thing. It's an adversarial action. Like for this time, we're diametrically opposed. It's fine. It's not like I hate you, I hope you die. It's like my mission for the next however long this debate is to with the special carve out of I do believe in the debate tactic of you can admit the things like, and it's good to admit the things like, well, we agree on this and then move on. I agree with you that blah blah blah. But there's this other, and that can be a pretty good tactic. But otherwise, it's.
I see Arthur Daya doesn't have the peanut butter for making sandwiches out of her ears. So here's the thing: when you bring stats up in a debate, you basically are admitting that you lose because you're appealing to authority that nobody believes in. I don't care where your stats come from; they can be the best stats in the world. They can be the people who make the item. Can say this is what it is, and I will say, yeah, but this guy says this, and you don't have any. There's no way you can prove me wrong in that debate. You can't, because it's a statistic that can be manipulated, and and this is why Andrew always goes into his debate. So one of the first things that you'll hear him say is, let's just dispense with all of the nonsense with stats right out of the gate and admit that. Anything you give me, I'm going to have something to counter, and you're going to deny what I counter your stuff with, and I'm going to deny your stuff. So let's just not argue that because it's not worth the time. If there's a point, then maybe I'll concede the point. If you say like X number of X number of cows fall over dead in a field every year, and we know this because of this stat, maybe I'll concede that because I don't know, because I have no way of verifying that, and I don't have anything to back it up. But it's irrelevant to the position. The important part is you have to take a position. A stat is not a factual argument. A stat is a piece of data that appeals to authority, which I don't care about.
Yes, and it generalizes as well. So you could have a car and know this is the top speed of this vehicle, but now the vehicle is slightly damaged in some way. It cannot hit that
Arthur
top
Dye,
speed. That's just a bunch of...
Sorry. Arthur Dye, have you ever seen Andrew appeal to authority using stats? He will rattle them off. If somebody gives them their stat, he will rattle off a stat immediately afterwards and then say, so who cares?
I will say
logic.
Stats are useful in one instance, and Larry Elder and Ben Shapiro do this brilliantly. When the stat is prima facie, plain on its face, evident. Is it more racist in 1650 or 2024? I'll use a stat like looking at the black divorce rate or the black family children born out of wedlock rate. I will use the 1875 versus 1975, just because it's such a powerful, as soon as you hear it, as soon as you look at it. And then, so what naturally follows is, are you arguing that it's more racist now than it was in the 1860s or the 1760s or the 1650s? But it's almost what you're doing with the stat is almost arguing to absurdity. And you put them in, I'm saying if you argue against this, you're going to look like a child. You're going to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really use stats.
I want to say, I saw somebody in your chat ask for a cigarette flip. I'll do one that you guys haven't seen, but you got to give a dono to Greg. Here you go.
That's pretty wild. You are the most interesting man alive. That just confirmed it.
You got to give Grid a dono, though. Got to give Grid a dono for that.
I forgot about that. Sorry, I didn't. I'm really bad at this shilling stuff. I got to get better at it. You spent like 30 minutes discussing Pew Research data.
Pew Research? I thought we were just talking about
because you wouldn't let it go.
He's talking about the debate. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a little mini debate with Andrew. Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? It's funny. Data on that is, again, it's prima facie absurd when you're looking at gun-free zones and when you're looking at mass casualty events and things like that. Yeah, it's so stupid.
I think at this point, I think Pew Research at this point is proven to only be about, what, 60% accurate at this point? Maybe. Use the grift. It's like fucking Yoda over here.
The grift is strong with this one.
Not strong enough, apparently. Apparently, I suck.
Embrace the grift.
So
I watched an hour-long thing on YouTube the other day. It was all of the lightsaber fight scenes from I think it was from
slick
6 or 7 of the movies. I was like, don't sign me up, or don't threaten me with a good time. So I was working on something else, but I watched the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Appealing to the Bible is appealing to authority. So appealing to the Bible is appealing to the ultimate authority. And that's, I mean, we can't argue against that, right? That's why morality.
No, he's right. He's right. Here's the point with that. I don't evoke the Bible unless I'm debating someone who submits themselves to the authority thereof, which is to say, hey, we agree on this. This is why 2 Christians can debate certain things, 2 Muslims, 2 Mormons, whatever. I never invoke the Bible because technically, that little bit of possibility that you guys are hanging on to, that what if there was no God, which is absurd. But so it'd be an appeal. It's formally an appeal to authority. It really truly is.
If you're debating religion, you have to do that. And where you're saying Muslim would do the same with the Quran, no, because they also believe in the Bible. So no.
So here's the thing, though. Andrew generically only appeals to the Bible when you start down the morality path, and he will beat you every time, because at the end of it, he has and he doesn't appeal to the Bible, he appeals to the church and its canon, and the fact that from his worldview, God said X. That was written by those who heard it, and therefore, even passed down through the generations, it is still the word of God. And that's why he uses morality. He generically only does it with morality. I haven't heard him use the Bible anywhere else except morality. Anywhere else,
better if you can make your arguments without using your religion or the Bible.
I don't use it at all.
Well, that's
when
I'm
debating Christians.
Morality. He says, "What morality? How can you do that?" Because
even so, I don't even appeal to the Bible. I give them an is-ought David Hume informed. Let's hit up the Hume's guillotine, which is, hey, if you are invoking reality, that presupposes that you believe. If you're invoking moral laws, just laws, it presupposes you believe in a moral lawgiver, which is rightly called a God. I'm not saying my God or the God or whatever.
Right. Because otherwise it's just your opinion, and I can have a different opinion, and my opinion is this is that.
Uh-oh.
No, correct.
Therajing Patriot 1776 donated $10 super chat. Send in Dono Grifts and the yellow super chats get triggered by TTS and will be read right after the TTS has been triggered.
Function on
Support
logic
the channel,
and then
which in turn betters the content.
that obviously fits your side of the argument.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you because of the TTS. But let me refire that, because for some reason I had a really bad echo and I'm not really sure why. So let me go down here, and we're going to refire that.
Nobody believes Jesus was black, dude. Calm down.
Therajing Patriot 1776 donated $10, super chat. Send in Dono Grifts and the yellow super chats get triggered by TTS and will be read right after the TTS has been triggered. Support the channel, which in turns betters the content
being provided. I don't have the character limit that matches the voice and what Streamlabs allows. So yes, the Raging Patriot, for those of you who did not hear it, which is just us three, or you two actually, $10 came in from the Raging Patriot 1776. Send in Dono Grifts and the yellow super chats get triggered by TTS and will be read right after the TTS has been triggered. Support the channel, which in turn betters the content being provided. Thank you very much. So yeah, we couldn't hear Chris because of the TTS. Now you have to repeat yourself, Chris.
I was just saying the best way to move forward with debates is screw the statistics and all of that. You make logical deductions that obviously enhances your part of the argument. So that's in the general direction you want to move, because it's very hard to discredit logic. So if you can basically convince the other side of your logical entailments, then they're screwed. You don't have to appeal to statistics, authority, nothing.
All right, guys. I may end a little early today, so get those grifts in, because in mere moments, there will be an impromptu Andrew stream talking to Destiny about Trump.
Oh, no.
So,
no.
About J6. that's going to be there.
So the house is going to smell like burnt crack here, because they're going to be cooking some kumas over there.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All right. I will let me set this up so that I can send you guys over there when I end. And if somebody could just click in over there and tell me if they're actually live yet, or if they are doing the pre-show, somebody, that would really help me out. So
I would like to see an in-person debate with the Gremlin, with Andrew.
This is
I don't think the Gremlin ever wants to be in the same room as Andrew ever again.
The problem is he's so ADD, he can't get away from a keyboard being able to play Roadblocks or whatever stimulates him.
No, dude, you don't understand what's happening when he's on that computer, man. He's got 10,000, 12,000 people in his chat.
Busy sourcing info.
And yeah, feeding him info, feeding him arguments. Basically there, and he has so many TTF, he has so many tabs open with Wikipedia, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
But it's all, I bet you it's also a little bit of coping with the Adderall or whatever, because I know from substances you need a little bit of something to keep you busy. He's gonna sit on that chair and start fucking turning it into a rocking chair if you put him in front of Andrew alone in a room.
Yeah. So this is a fact too. Destiny, Rob Noor let Destiny talk and basically have his way for 4.5 hours. A half hour into Rob Noor basically making his argument and setting up his point, Destiny rage quit.
Yeah, that was some babyback bullshit right there. Rob is a legend.
It really was. All right, so Andrew is live now. He's talking to the audience. I'm going. Normally I would go another 34 minutes, But today, I think we're going to cut out a little early, guys. I really appreciate you all being here. Joe, great having you on again. It's good seeing you, man. I was worried about you. I honestly thought maybe you had decided to quit streaming
No,
and go and pick up golf or something.
I was just actually working. No stream tonight and spending time with the family.
Good deal, man. Good deal. I'll stream tomorrow night. You're welcome to come on and we'll talk about more of this stuff. So
thanks, man.
At any rate, gentlemen, ladies, hope you enjoyed the show. Be cool, be good people. Wear glasses if you need them, and on.
Yeah, I just answered your question. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
Epistemology is the study of the epistles. I mean, you can. I told me that a husband and wife is supposed to be the representation of God and the church. He said he's a husband. I asked him if he sees himself as the embodiment of God, and he said no. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the epistles?
The epistles are the apostles. Are you talking about the apostles?